Greetings. Welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you coming back. Welcome to the new subscribers. Appreciate you joining us on this journey to the unknown of what tomorrow brings to our great nation we call America. In this YouTube video, I want to share a story with you that's something that weighs on my mind from the past to the present. As some of you know, in my past life, while serving 20 years in the military, one of my tours of duty, I worked as a security advisor to Air Force Special Operations, supporting Joint Special Operations internationally and domestically, but mostly internationally in the European theater. And part of my job as a security advisor, I, along with normally one other, would travel into foreign countries, predominantly in Eastern Europe, shortly after the Soviet Union collapsed and the Berlin Wall came down. And many of these Eastern European countries were basically raped of resources and dignity when the Soviets pulled out of the countries. And with this came a lot of corruption and mostly poor individuals trying to survive day to day. And part of my job, well, a lot of my job was doing risk assessments and risk analysis of locations where we plan to bring a special operations package into these countries to maybe train with the host nation or do real world things. And when I would travel to these countries, predominantly Romania, Hungary, Poland, Latvia, Estonia, the Balkan states, and so forth, I would get linked up with a host nation, predominantly female, normally in their early 20s. They would either be university students or university graduates, multilingualists, who was contracted to the American Embassy in that country. And because I traveled there often, I would get assigned the same interpreter to work with. And whenever there was downtime, one of the important goals was to gain their trust, bond with them, and that would lead to a lot of personal discussions. One of the things we always carried with us was 5 to 10 pounds of chocolate candy that we would gift the interpreter. Why chocolate? Because many of these interpreters who were still in the university system, they would make money as a linguist interpreter to us, but they would also work 8 to 12 hour shifts, typically at night, busting tables, working as servers and waitresses in local restaurants and bars. And it was very strict at that time on them if they would get a bathroom break, their time was docked from their pay. So um, typically, because money was so critical to surviving, they would sneak and eat a piece of chocolate to get them through the hours and to give them some energy boost from the chocolate. Now, some of the living conditions of these individuals was very tough. Many of them came from the outskirts, the small towns, to the city, and oftentimes they would maybe live with a friend or a family member who would provide them shelter in a dwelling while going to the university. In one case, the particular individual lived in a high rise apartment building. It was a newer building that they lived in with an aunt and uncle. They had no running water, and they heated with wood, and the high-rise apartments did not have elevators, so they had to climb the stairs. So it was a trade-off to live there at minimal cost. Um, this individual, who was a very petite female, maybe 100 pounds, would carry buckets and buckets and buckets of water from an outside well up the flights of stairs to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th floors for water to cook with, bathe with, drink, and to have a flushing toilet. And that also had to carry the firewood up these stairs. In another case, in another country, the individual was a university graduate who worked as a linguist for the embassy and also tutored and taught English to customers who would pay them a small fee. And this particular person had elderly parents that had no financial income, and she worked multiple jobs to pay for her own provisions and also to take care of her aging parents. So the stories went on from country to country. Many, mostly all of these individuals were could offer or speak 3, 4, and 5 languages. So in these personal conversations, building trust and learning about them and their way of life, I would hear stories of how the system worked in their country. And even after obtaining a college degree, to apply for a job, if they were hired for a job, they had to pay a fee to the person who hired them. And it was a fairly large amount considering the income that they would earn. And it normally also would entail sexual favors. So it was not something, they needed jobs desperately, but it was not something that we as Westerners, we would frown upon these things and basically call it illegal. But in these foreign countries, it was customary as a practice to gaining employment. So it was corrupt. There were the haves and the have-nots. And there were stories and stories and stories of corruption. why we needed them in our job doing these risk assessments was they had information outside of the system where a lot of times foreign countries, authorities, police departments, and so forth, they were very proud and they did not want to share with an outsider where corruption and crime would take place in and around a town or a city, and that was the information that we needed. So we could work with the linguist, share chocolate, bond with them, and build a friendship, and they would share these things of places to go, not go, groups to look out for, what was the flavor of the week in crime. Everything from pickpocketing cell phones to wallets, to overcharging foreigners, to drugs, and even human trafficking and pedophilia. So we needed this information. But one of the things, why am I sharing this story with you, was they all had a common story, and their goal was to finish their education or save enough money and come to America. America was the shining light on the hill where they could come and have a better life, have a family, earn a living, and not have to deal with things from their home country any longer, and possibly bring their families over to start a new way of life. So I would often get questions about America and what was it like living here. Um, Being able to have a good job, being able to not worry about corruption for the most part, crime, freedom to travel, not needing documents to cross state lines, and things of that nature. And usually, when I would leave the country from a trip, I would usually take out a $1 bill and I would draw a heart on it. And I would always talk to them about faith and hope, and to stay with their dreams and to not give up, and to basically look at what they were living through at that time as a transit to a new chapter in life. This was 30 years ago. And more often than not, I think about these individuals and I wonder how many of them actually made it to America and what they're living through and seeing in America today, having grown up under communist rule. And now that they're here, what are they thinking in with what they're seeing around America? Basically, a moral decay of humanity, infrastructure collapsing, criminals and gangs, corrupt governments, and so on and so forth. So I guess there's a question looming in the back of my mind of, do they ever wonder if I lied to them? Okay. Hopefully not, because it was a different time and now it's a different place. And many of the things I shared to them about why America was great, I still believe that there are still many good people and good ways to have a productive life. But it's slipping away, and America is crumbling before our very eyes. And it's now not just impacting those who actually made it here, or it's also impacting all of us. The question of what will tomorrow bring? Can we feed our family? Will we be able to maintain our homes in a new system? our education system that's failing. Um, Morals and values. It's not saying that all teachers are bad. It's that many of them, it's a job and it's a system that has been put before them. Um, and we're living in a nation where we have two ideologies, and many of us who are 50 and older believe in one ideology, and the younger generations have a different ideology, and we can't really blame them because it's based on a system they've been taught and how they were educated. And so many of them grew up in split homes, or they were raised by guardians, grandparents, um, where there was a clash of an original ideology, um, based on our past history that's now being taught to be bad, and probably in some cases uh, ideologies of a faith-based morality, where in many cases today that is not the case. So these are things. These are things to think about. Not just that A is bad or B is bad or C is broken. It often helps when we stop and we think about how we got here. Okay, it didn't happen overnight, so a fix to right the ship or correct the situation is not going to happen. The fix is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take years, backbone, and strength. But it's going to be a fight, and um, the more and more as time goes on, the folks who are of our ideology, faith-based, moral government, accountability, and things like that, is viewed as a resistance to the current political ideology, and case by case, uh, pastors, professionals, politicians who are differing are being targeted and taken down. And that goes against everything that our ideology taught us. You know, we were raised to believe in a Bible. We were taught and raised to believe in a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. Uh, and there's many who completely differ in these opinions. So um, I've recently heard interviews with new migrants who came across the wrong way, who our government welcomed in, they're paying them to be here, who have stated that had they known it was going to be like this, they would prefer to be back in their home country. Because in the areas where they're living in apartment complexes or in camps, the crime and the gangs is making life extremely difficult for the good people. Um, and this is something we have talked about in prior Hope for Survival platforms, in of how where there's no rule of law and where authorities will not enforce existing laws, gangs come in and they take over, and they start making life for the people who are there very difficult. So this is happening, it's spreading, and it won't get better when you have authorities who are going against the rule of law to um, benefit what's wrong and illegal, and punish those who are in support of a rule of law and enforcing existing laws, and to stop the growth of the crime against the people. So it's continuing. It's going to continue to grow. The problems are going to mount. And we just, again, we don't come here to deliver fear porn or to scare you. We come here to give you information to make you smarter in what's going on around and to mentally plan for if it hits your community and area on how you're going to deal with it. Okay. It's just simply sounding the horn to alert you to things that are happening that could change your life. Okay. So I'll close with that. Think of the bright side of things. Even though things continue to degrade and crumble, if you have a shelter and food and water over your head, and you have family and you have a community, take advantage of that and make the most of it. Build and bond for a better tomorrow. Okay. So if you like this video, please hit like and share with others. Help spread the word. The more people we have who are smarter to what's going on, we can bond and build and strengthen our communities to hopefully withstand these problems when they're at our gate. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Consider doing so. We would appreciate it. And keep the faith. Don't lose hope. Stay strong. Keep your head on a swivel. Be smart and alert in everything that you do. When you walk out the door of your home, you need to have a mental plan and a backup plan to what you're doing, how you're getting there, how you're getting home, and so forth. So remember to count your blessings, and most importantly is don't forget to give thanks. Bravo Echo out. Thank you for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. If you are new to Hope for Survival, you can check out our books at our webpage. Book 1, which is Hope for Survival, Getting You Prepared for Disasters, and Book 2, Hope for Survival, The Mindset, are both available for order on the website. We also offer the Hope for Survival football stick, which is a memory stick set up as a digital filing cabinet with files already loaded on there for you to digitally copy items such as deeds, auto transcript for ownership, wills, living wills, loans, banking information, items that if your home burned down or you had some form of a disaster, you could have all your important papers already digitally filed on this stick. All you do is simply drag the digital file into the appropriate preset folder so that you'll have it in the event of a disaster. You have to flee your home in a hurry, or also if you're away from home and you need critical information that's personal, if you have your memory stick with you, you can put it in your computer and pull that information up wherever you may be. Again, you can find these items to order at our website, https www.hopeforsurvival.com, or you can email me at preparedness101@protonmail.com, and I will try to help you out. Again, thanks for checking out the Hope for Survival YouTube channel. Hope to see you again.